So I just realized there is a band from the UK, Halifax, called Wot Gorilla. And they're kind of like modern progressive rock, popish, rockish kind of thing. I think maybe instrumental. I'm not sure. I haven't listened enough yet, but I'm going to check them out because what I've heard is really good. I got to imagine it's all spelled the exact same, that they pulled the name from Genesis. Let's talk about the song Wot Gorilla from the album Wind and Wuthering that came out in 1976. Now, I find this album so interesting because it's so good. It's a beautiful record, it's very concise, and it came less than a year after A Trick of the Tail, which is a massively incredible and iconic album and a huge fan favorite. And you would think that Wind would be like a bunch of leftover tracks, but there's some incredible iconic Genesis songs, including Afterglow on the album. But we're not talking about those songs, we're talking about Wot Gorilla. And what I also find interesting about Wind and Wuthering is that there's 3 instrumental songs, Wot Gorilla being the first one, which may have been because they didn't have as much pop music and lyrical content left over a mere 10 months after releasing A Trick of the Tail. But I don't know, that's just a theory. I think a lot of fans are split on this song, and I think it's because of the story behind it. Perhaps that this song or other songs were put on instead of some other tracks that Steve maybe would have been preferred to have. And I think this album is clouded over, no pun intended, by the fact that Steve left because of this album or after this album. This was the tipping point for him. This was the straw. I don't really know all the details behind that. I don't even think Steve really knows all the details behind that. But I do think this song belongs on the album. I think it's a great song. For Phil Collins fans, it's a great Phil Collins song. It has that and So to F feel that we were just talking about in a previous video. I love the chimes. I love the weird sounds happening, the super fast bongo drum that happens at the beginning. Incredible synth stuff going on. Not a lot for Mike to do on this song, but it is where Phil shines. And Tony has talked about how this was kind of like appeasing Phil. I mean, Phil had just taken over vocals, and so it's kind of saying, Phil, you're a part of the band. Let's do your thing. Let's do your free jazz, new jazz thing on this record. It's almost like before he would go on and really write songs like on Duke, it was kind of like, here, this can be, you know, one of your contributions to the music, especially now that he is certainly a permanent member, being the lead vocalist. I don't know, that's all just some theories. We'll do a proper review on Wind one day. So I won't get into the debate of like whether Pigeons should have been on this record, which I do think, I think is a great song, Inside and Out, which is also a great song, but I don't really think belongs on this record. It's a little bit too like poppy, and I don't have a problem with Your Own Special Way, a really beautiful song. Anyway, Wot Gorilla fits on this record. The record maybe has a little bit too many instrumentals, but I think it's a great instrumental. It is probably, gosh, well, it's not my favorite instrumental. And I think that Phil was trying to do a Los Endos type of thing, which that might be my favorite instrumental. I don't know. I have never thought about the best Genesis instrumental. Should we do a video? Let's do a video on that. But it's up there. It really is up there. I like it a lot. And I also like the Brazilian, and I just wish they had done more instrumentals. I kind of like Second Home by the Sea. It's not bad. It certainly fits the era. I wish they had done more instrumentals. I think some of their albums would have done better, or not done better, but would have been served better, like We Can't Dance, if there was like a really good, substantial instrumental on there. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I love Wot Gorilla. What is the meaning behind it, by the way? I had heard it might be a reference to a Frank Zappa song called Chester's Gorilla, which I believe was like Chester Thompson's groupie at the time. Anyway, there's like a theory that maybe has something to do with it. I don't know. I don't know if the band has really talked about the title before. I know when you're an instrumentalist or when you're an artist and you create an instrumental, there really is no way, when the song doesn't have like a clear meaning, there really is no way to give it an appropriate title. So it's kind of freedom for a creative artist to just pick whatever words pops into their mind, and to even give it a title that you would maybe never be allowed to give a regular song that title, something like The Brazilian or Wot Gorilla. What do you think about this track? We'll do a whole review on Wind another day, but tell me what you think about this track and how does it rank from all the Genesis instrumentals. Thanks for watching.